Hi all you music lovers out there. My name is Andy Rodriguez. I'm also known as the Black Spinner. And if you found our channel or if you're returning to my channel, what I do here is that I go through my record collection. And I do them in alphabetical order and in chronological order. I have been collecting records for over 20 years, so I've got quite the collection to go through. So we go in alphabetical order and in chronological order, like I said. And today's episode, we are on the letter P. And we have a couple of cues that we're going to also go over. If you please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's start with the letter P's. Passion Pit. If you like pop rock, alternative pop rock of the mid 2000s, this is a good band to listen to. I got into them at around that time. My wife and I saw them at a festival here in Houston. We were already familiar with their music off of XM's Alt Nation. And Passion Pit, this was their second release, I believe. Here's the inside gatefold. The songs on here that stick out to me, also, I will go through the album and I will also pick out album tracks that I enjoy, and maybe that'll make you want to go and check it out and see what else you might like from these bands that you haven't heard of or you heard of, but maybe not the songs that I'm about to mention. On this one here, Take a Walk, I'll Be Alright, Carried Away, Constant Conversations, On My Way, and Love is Greed. This is a really good album. It features really good music from the mid 2000s, so I would highly recommend that. And next we have a grunge band from the 90s, and since we're talking about the letter P, I'm pretty sure we all know who we're going to be talking about. This is Pearl Jam. This is the album 10. This was released in 2010 for the 20th anniversary of their debut album. It's got two albums. The first album is the regular mix, and the second album is a remix done by Brendan O'Brien. Brendan O'Brien, right? I'm pretty sure it's O'Brien. Yes, by Brendan O'Brien, who does most of the Pearl Jam albums, except for this last one, Gigatron. He does not. They went outside their regular producing duties, and you can kind of tell in that too. Anyway, so the album tracks on here. This is a phenomenal album by this great band. I'll probably read off every song on here. So let's go with Once, Even Flow, Alive, Why Go, Black, and Jeremy. All that's on side 1. What a debut of side 1, huh? Oceans, Porch, and Garden. Those are the key tracks that stick out to me on the Pearl Jam's debut album called 10. And next, they released an album a couple of years later called Versus. I remember when I had gotten this on cassette. I loved this album. I would play it non-stop in my car on the tape deck back in, I guess, 94. Here's the inside of it. Sometimes this is my favorite Pearl Jam album sometimes. And yeah, Black on Black. It's a really great album. Let's go through these tracks. These tracks are great. Animal is great, and Go is also on here. Let's see here. Go, Animal, Daughter, Glorified G, WMA, which is a great song. You can probably listen to WMA and think about what's going on today in the world. Side 2, Blood. Blood's a great rocker. Man, it's great. Rearview Mirror is another great song. In fact, Rearview Mirror might be one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs. Rats is also good. Elderly Woman, Behind the Counter in a Small Town, Leash, and Indifference. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 1993 when this was released. That was my senior year in high school. This was a great album. Loved it. I still love it. I still play this very often. If I don't play it on here, I stream it at work, or stream it in the car. I still have the same cassette over here. This is great. It's a great album. And after that came out Vitology. This was their third knockout album. There's the inside of it, where the guys, looks like they're in a recording studio re-recording this. There's the inside of it. And the songs on here, again, I might even read the whole thing. This is a phenomenal album, Vitology. Corduroy, Satan's Bed, Better Man, Immortality. Immortality is fantastic. But also the aforementioned Corduroy. Love Corduroy. Spin the Black Circle, Not For You, Temor Christ, Nothing Man, and Whipping. They're whipping! Man, this... a lot of people think of Pearl Jam as just their hit songs or, this and that. But if you really want to get into Pearl Jam, you need to listen to their albums from beginning to end. They're just... the majority of them are fantastic. And next we have here is Pearl Jam Yield. This is the last one I've got on vinyl from them. The rest I've got on CD. But yeah, Yield was another smash hit for them. There's the inside of it. The songs on here, let's go. Looks like I'm going to have to... Oh, here we go. Brain of J, Faithful, Given to Fly, Wishless, I love Wishless, Pilot, and Do the Evolution, MFC, and Hiding. Man, these guys were riding high during this time in the 90s, and they really did outlast their other counterparts when it came to the grunge movement of the, I'll call them the Big Four, the Alice in Chains, the Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam is still out there doing it. And their last album, if you haven't heard it, called Gagatron, it's fantastic. And what I have next is Tom Petty, Heartbreakers. Tom Petty might be one of my top 10 favorites of all time. It's hard to believe that this October he would have been gone for 3 years already. I remember the day that he died. I think it was a Wednesday, and I was at work and I was hearing it. And Rolling Stone had announced the news, and then on Twitter his daughter said that wasn't true and he wasn't gone yet. And well, either way, we started playing this music at work from that moment on for the rest of the week, actually. So let's get started with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, their debut album. I've seen Tom Petty one time. He was fantastic live. I was going to see him on his 50th anniversary tour, I think it was. And it came by here, and I said, you know what, I'll see him next time he comes. That time never came. I'm never going to do that again. Skip a show. The songs on here, Breakdown, The Wild One Forever, anything that's rock and roll. And it ends with one of my favorite songs of all time, American Girl. American Girl must be on my top 10. Here's the back of it. With Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Mike Campbell played such a big part with his guitars on here. And, the Heartbreakers pretty much stayed pretty much intact. Almost, Benchmark Trench was on here. Ron Blair, Stan Lynch, and Mike Campbell. And these guys stayed with them for a long time. Next was their second album, You're Gonna Get It, from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. A couple of songs on here are good. You're Gonna Get It, Magnolia, Too Much Ain't Enough, I Need to Know, and Listen to Her Heart, and Baby's a Rock and Roller. There's the inside of it. Yeah, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers fell into that Birds kind of mode, with the ringing guitars and 12-string and just great lyrics that people can relate to. This album, when I go through my top 10 of all time, top 20 of all time, my top 20 vinyls, I'm still working on that, but I have to get through the alphabet first. But I know this is going to be on there. Damn the Torpedoes, Tom Petty. Love this album. This is one of my favorites. I mean, this, not just how many hit songs came off of here, but the album tracks on this album. Just fantastic. This is one of their most consistent albums. Refugee, Here Comes My Girl, Even the Losers, Shadow of a Doubt, and Century City. All that's on side 1. Side 2, Don't Do Me Like That, You Tell Me, What Are You Doing in My Life, and Louisiana Rain, Ding Ding Ding. I mentioned every song on this album because every song in this album deserves to be mentioned. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn Their Torpedoes. This next one here, Hard Promises, came after. This was a fantastic album as well. A little bit more, not as much in your face as Damn the Torpedoes was. This was a little bit more laid back feel to it. The Waiting, Night Watchman, King's Road was a big album track for him. And The Criminal Kind, and You Can Still Change Your Mind. Yeah. Another one by Tom Petty, Heartbreakers, Long After Dark. I tell you, you know, Tom Petty really hit his stride in the early 90s. If I do my CD collection, I'll talk more about Tom Petty. You know, when I was in high school and junior high, you know, Tom Petty was it for me. You know, I loved it because that's when, you know, they were still coming out with new music when I was in junior high and high school. Let's see here. You Got Lucky, love that song. One Story Town, We Stand a Chance, and the album track Straight Into Darkness, and A Wasted Life. Pretty good album. And what we have next here is Tom Petty, Heartbreaker, Southern Accents. Southern Accents. This one is going to be... Was this one produced by Tom Petty and Robbie Robertson? And, yeah, there was quite a bit that was done by the whole band and Robbie Robertson. And if you've been following my channel, Robbie Robertson is from the band called The Band. There's the inside of it. Lyrics in the back. Songs on here. Rebels. It Ain't Nothing to Me. Southern Accents, the album track. Make It Better, Forget About Me. Don't Come Around Here No More. Yeah. You know, this was also a good album that sometimes gets overlooked during that mid-80s period. And next we move on. I've only got one album by this band. This was another band that was in the same time period as Passion Pit. This is Phoenix. Wolfgang Amadeus, the name of the album. Phoenix is a electro pop alternative band. They come out of Germany, I think. They're just a paper gatefold. The songs on here: Listomania, 1901, Fences. In fact, 1901 used to be my phone ringer, and Lasso, and Girlfriend. This was a pretty good album. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but it was catchy. And when you hear the album in its entirety, it flows. It's an album that flows really well. And next, I have a band that came out in the mid '80s. They were part of the pop metal band, the pop metal move, and I remember this album because Poison. Look What the Cat Dragged In. In my neighborhood across the street, my friend Randy, he lived across the street. Randy Smart. He had this on cassette when it came out, and we played it all summer long. I remember just sitting on his porch and just hearing this on cassette. Let's go with what's inside here. Sometimes I surprise myself with what's in there. Lyrics and pictures of the band. You know, Poison gets a lot of slack. I'm sorry, a lot of crap, and they really shouldn't. You know, they weren't trying to be Iron Maiden or being Metallica. You know, they were just another rock band. You know, but the songs on here are great. Cry Tough, I Want Action, I Won't Forget You. It's a great ballad. Play Dirty, Look What the Cat Dragged In, Talk Dirty to Me. Number One, Bad Boy. Yeah, Look What the Cat Dragged In. Big debut album for them. And their second album just put them in the stratosphere. Open up and say, ah. There's the back of it. C.C. DeVille and Bret Michaels and Ricky Rocket. There's the lyrics. And Bobby Doll. The songs on here, let's go over them. Again, probably about 5 or 6 songs on here easily. Nothing But a Good Time. Tearing Down the Walls. Look But You Can't Touch. Fallen Angel. And of course, their most favorite song, Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and Your Mama Don't Dance, which is a cover of a song by, I think it's Loggins and Messina, which they did an okay job of it. But still, my favorite song on here, of course, is Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and I love Fallen Angel. Fallen Angel is such a good song. And next we move on to the Police. I used to have more Police than this, and then I got rid of them, traded them for something, and now I'm trying to get them back, and now they're hard to find. But this one here is called Zenyatta Mandata. And the songs on here, Don't Stand So Close to Me, When the World is Running Down, Canary in a Coal Mine, Behind My Camel, and I like Man in a Suitcase too. This also has the hit song Dee Doo Doo Ah Da Da Da. That was a big hit for them, but I never really liked that song. I thought it was very lazy. I just didn't like it. Excuse me. And next I have Elvis Presley. I've only got one album by Elvis. I could have gotten so many of them, but I've just recently started getting into Elvis Presley. I realized I really just enjoy his hit songs. But maybe I started off on the wrong foot with Blue Hawaii, which is okay. This isn't a very good copy of it. It's kind of scratchy. And when things are a little scratchy, and you know, you don't get that much into it. I mean, it looked good, but then when I put it on, it was poppy and scratchy. But it does have a great song by him here. Can't Help Falling in Love and Aloha. But yeah, you know, it's Elvis Presley. And next I have the debut album by the Pretenders. I like the Pretenders quite a bit. I've got most of their stuff on cassettes, and I'm trying to transition them to vinyl. The songs on here, Precious, The Weight, Kid, Brass in Pocket. Yeah, Chrissie Hynde is just really something. She just is. I've never seen them live, but when I see them on TV, I'd love to see her on stage with the guitar being so pretty and tough at the same time. And next is something that I not usually, but I haven't talked too much about because I haven't gotten to this point of my record collection, but spoken word. And this spoken word is done by a comedian. I'm not going to go by the jokes. I'm just going to show you the albums. But let's go Richard Pryor. I got quite a few Richard Pryors. I believe this will be his debut album. And this was a big hit for him. That Man's Crazy. It's a really good album. Enjoyed it. Let's go through these real quick. I Hope I'm Funny is great. Man with a Seizure. Exorcist, because this came out during during the movie The Exorcist, and he talks about the Exorcist. Wino dealing with Dracula is really funny too. This is just good. Oh, look, it says right here, 1974 Grammy Comedy Award winner. Album recorded live on at Don Cornelius' Soul Train. That's pretty interesting. There's the back of it. That's pretty interesting that won a Grammy. And here we have Richard Pryor. Is it something I said? I need to listen to this one because I haven't heard this one in a while. In fact, I haven't heard these Richard Pryors in quite a bit. There's the back of it. And if you're familiar with anything with Richard Pryor, he does have a reoccurring character called Mudbone. It's like an old man that talks about how it was back in the day and how compared to today. Yeah, Richard Pryor. He was so funny. He was a very talented man. And I got 2 copies of that. If anyone wants the other copy, hit me up and I'll send it to you. The next I have Richard Pryor, Bicentennial Man. The stuff on here is pretty good. I like this album. And this was released by Warner Brothers. He was on the Warner Brothers label. And this was my first Richard Pryor one. Are You Serious? After I bought this was off of Laugh Records. When I had heard this, I said, man, I gotta get me some more of this guy. Because I've always liked Richard Pryor. You know, his stand-up comedy and the movies that he made. When I was a kid, I used to watch The Toy forever, over and over and over. But yeah, Richard Pryor. And right here we have The Blacksmith, Richard Pryor. And this one was his most famous one. Live on the Sunset Strip. They made this into a movie, a stand-up comedy movie. It came out maybe 80, 81, 82. Hey, you know what? I was pretty close. And I used to watch it because they would show it on HBO, and I would watch it whenever it came on and when my parents were home. Yep. And moving along here, this is the only one I have by this band. It might be the only one that I need. You only really need one pure Prairie League. This is some pretty good country rock of the mid-70s. Pretty interesting. The song that I like here the most, and the reason why I bought it, was Amy. Amy, what you gonna do? And Jazzman. But after I heard it, there were quite a bit of songs I liked here. I liked Jazzman, Leave My Heart Alone, Falling In and Out of Love. Yeah. This is a good album. I liked it. And as we get into the cues, I've only got a couple of cues. I'm not that big of a Queen fan, but I do have the greatest hits on vinyl, which I enjoy their hits. I find going through their albums a little tedious. This has everything that I would need, personally. Another one, Bites the Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Killer Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle Race. And what's really neat about this also has a version, has the song with David Bowie called Under Pressure. Love that song. We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, Flash. I remember when that movie came out. You're My Best Friend, Keep Yourself Alive, and Play the Game. You know, I named every album, I named every song on here. You know, like I said, I like their singles. And the last but not least, this was just great when it came out. Quiet Riot, Mental Health. This made such a big noise on the Billboard charts. This was, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first pop metal to hit #1. I think. But it was a big hit for them. They were really everywhere at this time. And there's the back of it. And on here is Rudy Sarzo. We spoke about him the last episode when we were talking about Ozzy Osbourne, Carlos Cavasso, and Frankie Banali. Quiet Riot is still going today, with Frankie Banali being the drummer, being their only original member. And of course, Kevin DuBrow, who passed away probably about 10 years ago, maybe. But the songs on here, Mental Health. Mental Health is fantastic. Come On, Feel the Noise. Don't Want to Let You Go. Breathless. Let's Get Crazy. And Thunderbird. Which it says here that it was for RR. I'm guessing, I'm sure that was for Randy Rhoads, because Randy Rhoads, who also played for Ozzy, was in the beginning stages of Quiet Riot. Yep. So that wraps up my letters P through Q. I hope that y'all really enjoyed it. And thanks a lot for joining me. I really enjoy going through my albums and just sharing them with y'all and talking to y'all about them. I find it a lot of fun, and I hope that you have it just fun as I do. And join me next episode, which, of course, I left off Pink Floyd, the letter P. Pink Floyd is going to have their own episode. Just like the Beatles had their own episode, Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Eric Clapton and Bob Dylan. All those artists also had their own episode. And Pink Floyd will also have their own episode because they deserve it. And believe me, they need it. I need the time for Pink Floyd to be presented on their own, spotlighted, if you will. So please join me for that one. I'm really excited, and I hope that you're excited to hear it as well. Well, thanks a lot for joining me. Don't forget to leave a comment and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, guys and gals. Y'all take care of each other and keep rocking, and I'll see y'all next time.